I'm certain you've heard of Amelia Earhart, but you've probably never heard of TJ. Both of these people have had a profound impact on the survivors of this crash. We will address Miss Earhart momentarily, but TJ is the young man whose parents trusted them to take him on his first flight. He then became a fixture in their lives for decades until his untimely passing from illness. To this day, he is honored by them and their community, a community and experience that was stolen from them for an entire summer through no faults of their own.
Flap surgery is actually a very complicated surgery. It's very involved. The reason I had to have a flap surgery, I've had 5 of them, is because initially I had an abscess on my ischium. That's my sit bone. And so the abscess eventually caused a bone infection, which is called osteomyelitis, and it would not allow the wound to heal. So since 2016, I've had 5 flap surgeries. The last one I had was July 6th, 2023, and it's healed. This is the first one that healed, but I had to stay in bed for 3 months. That means not getting out of bed ever for 3 months. You have to do everything from bed. So I am at the point now, we were just getting at the point where the doctor said I reached the 1-year mark, I'm ready to fly. And then the accident happened.
And speaking of ready to fly, I understand that you guys like to fly literally, do you?
Yes, indeed.
Tell us more about that.
We have a couple airplanes, and one of them Dennis has set up so that I can be pulled in. Or one of the big guys at the airport will put me in and we'll all fly together and go have the $100 burger somewhere, maybe Port Townsend, wherever. And we've flown for years. I was a pilot before I was in a wheelchair, and so it's been a big part of our life. Our airport is part of our extended family, our airport family.
I understand you have 2 hangars?
We do. We have one in concrete, and then which we own, and the one here we rent from a gal named Lynn, and we keep an airplane here, and we can fly it back and forth to the concrete airport. Dennis has a small shop up there that he tinkers with things up there.
I understand you have a total of 3 airplanes.
We do.
He's one of the best pilots I've ever met. Simply because he's good at it. He's been doing it for 60 years. He's quite capable.
How often do you go up? Before the accident?
Oh, a couple of times a week, 2 or 3 times a week.
Since the accident?
Nothing.
So what did the insured say to you at the crash scene?
First words out of his mouth were, "My bad."
Okay.
And he and Dennis were exchanging information. And he said to Dennis, I don't want to turn this into my insurance company. And Dennis said to him, well, this is going to be expensive. And so the guy says, oh, don't worry about it. I have $12 million. And he said, well, here's my phone number. Call me when you get out of the hospital. So it took us a couple hours. They did a CAT scan on our brains, and we had to get a friend to come and get us because our car was not drivable. And we got home, and Dennis tried to call Mr. Van Loo twice, and he did not answer. And so I said to him, we don't have any choice. We have to turn this in.
Well, plus you'd call the 911 too when the accident happened, right?
Oh yeah, immediately.
Yeah.
And so the 8 cars were there.
Yeah, and that's that.
Right.
Yeah.
What model is this?
It's called a Model 12, BC-12D,
And it was built in what year?
1945.
What's the motor in it now?
65 horsepower Continental.
Okay. How long have you had it?
20 years.
And I understand you have another one next to it over there.
That's
Which-
that's a 1948 Stinson flying station wagon has been highly modified.
And the one at the other hangar is?
My RV4 home built. I'll show you. Leslie Fraser was the mechanic that installed at Lockheed the toilet in Amelia's Lockheed 12. I have his desk that he worked with. He made it himself. I still have some of his tools too.
How everybody has their heroes and heroines. Mine was Amelia Earhart, and I read everything there was to read about her, so I always wanted to be a flyer. So eventually I became one. I met the right guy who could fly.
Well, your first husband was a pilot, sort of.
Yeah, he was. He had pilot's license.
And that goes back how far?
Oh, when she was a kid, 60 years ago.
60 years ago. So I've had a love of flying ever since.
And she started to get her pilot's license when she got paralyzed. That stopped.
I flew, you know.
So this one's your pride and joy, huh?
Yes, it is.
This is a home built.
I'm Sherri.
Tell me about this plane.
This one goes 200 miles an hour, 150 horsepower.
We're going straight across.
And we flew it to Richmond, Virginia when I was healthier.
So let me ask you this, guys.
Huh?
What does flying mean to you?
Everything.
I used to fly when I was younger. We moved to the island. I had lost the vision of my eye. She said, "Can you still fly?" Because we got tired of waiting for the ferry. I said, "I don't know." So I went to Harvey Field in Snohomish and rented an airplane with an instructor, and I flew around. The guy says, "Well, you're fine." So I went to the FAA and I commissioned them to send me an inspector who happened to be a retired Tuskegee airman. And he checked me out and he says, "Yeah, you're okay." And he signed me off.
So he has
So
a
that was in 1985 or 6.
waiver.
Statement of demonstrated ability.
A waiver on his license that says waiver.
No useful vision in the left eye.
Waiver. And it's a demonstrated.
It's called a statement of demonstrated ability, a SODA.
As we heard earlier, Dennis and Sherri were on their way to a phenomenal summer until they had a forced encounter with a reckless multimillionaire who tried to get them to break the law while subjecting them to the worst type of impact possible for elders, the side impact. The fact that this man was more concerned about his insurance than their welfare smacks of entitlement and disrespect and only adds to their pain. Lastly, as to the Jaguar itself, both Dennis and Sherri have been impacted here. Travel is now a two-person affair until their new Jaguar is ready. And as noted 2 months ago, it takes a while to locate the same car in the same condition. And just as they told farmers rust is key, their new car, come to find out, has rust. And when it's all said and done, the amount of money they receive for their old car is less than 70% of what it truly costs to repair and finance the new car, because sure enough, there was rust, and rust is expensive to repair, as stated. Now, they are now finally ready to start flying to catch some of the fall season, but Dennis in particular still has months of physical therapy ahead of him and is still in pain. None of this had to happen, but it did. But farmers should be thankful that there weren't further injuries and there were no bones broken, but the pain they have suffered is more than enough to warrant this demand.
No, wait a minute. What I want to tell him is I don't know if I could do this by myself.
Oh, we've never been able to.
Okay.
I mean, literally, if he was, and I wanted to go to the grocery store, I'm not sure I could do this in this car by myself.
I know you can.
But in the Jaguar, you could.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
Jaguar's this big.
Yeah.
We'll show you.
Okay.
I can't do it anymore. I'm done.
Okay, wait. Wait.
I'm going to tear that out of the roof again. That's what you tore out of the roof of the other car. Okay.
I hate doing this.
Yeah, and the way these cars are cut nowadays.
Now the next thing is I can't close the door because it's open.
You can't reach it.
Right.
It'll fall out.
Right.
Yeah. It's just that much, that 6 inches difference that makes a